Here are 7 money mistakes I made during my 20s. You want to watch this video so you can make wiser money choices, save some of that money to buy a business or a house, and to stay out of debt. Being young means you're still trying to figure out who you are as a person. That means you're trying to figure out your identity. You may find yourself following the latest fashion trends, or you're just trying to look good, which is where I found myself. I remember back in high school, I used to get jealous of all the kids that were rocking the most quality fits with some Jordans to match their attire. So for a few months after I turned 20, I went all out on spending money on clothes. I would easily spend over $100 on one outfit alone, and sometimes I would walk out of one store with 4 different outfits. I'd rock those outfits whenever going out with friends, going to church, going to school, etc. I felt good wearing them, especially when I got compliments. But now looking back, I feel like it was just a temporary pleasure that warranted no long-term gains. I found myself broke because I spent most of my cash reserves on outfits, leaving me living paycheck to paycheck. Most people in their 20s have time to unwind. Consuming forms of entertainment in the comfort of their home is one way to do so. I've been more of a homebody for most of my life. And I think it was because of my sheer infatuation over video games, which I started playing at the age of 5. So it's no surprise that once I started a job, I went all out on buying the latest and greatest video games. I bought everything from Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Madden, Halo, Tekken, Street Fighter, Counter-Strike, Battlefield, and much, much more. I spent hundreds, even thousands on video games alone. During the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Nintendo Wii era, I easily spent the most money on systems and games on that generation alone, more than any other generation combined. I honestly knew that gaming led to the detriment of my personal and financial growth during that time, because video games are just so freaking addicting, and I just failed to control my urges. So when I was unemployed, instead of finding a job, doing a side hustle, or finding some way to make money, guess what I was doing? I was playing video games, sometimes from the time that I woke up to the time that I fell asleep. Don't get me wrong, gaming can be a less expensive activity than others, but only if you play in moderation. Have a nice work-life balance. Don't let gaming take control of your life like it did mine. When you're young, you may be prone to anything that's presented to you. All commission sales jobs, side hustles, and of course, MLMs. During my 20s, I had the desire to live financially free. Reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad prompted my dreams to getting out of the rat race. That said, I was digging for ways to make my dream a reality, so I joined numerous network marketing opportunities. And the last one that I joined during my late 20s was Nu Skin. What I found out from all of them is they try to get you to build up high levels of excitement to prompt you to buying into their opportunity. Thus, every MLM I joined, I tried numerous ways to make it work, but failed every time. And every time I failed, I found myself hundreds to thousands of dollars deeper into debt. The top income earners of these MLMs give you an inconspicuous notion that you could build a business part-time, but that is a blatant myth. You gotta work these businesses to the core, and only then may you get to the second tier of their compensation plans. The people at the top of these pyramids make the bulk of the lion's share, and unfortunately, my lack of wisdom made them hundreds of dollars more richer. People like me who are heavy into technology want the best gadgets on the market. Years ago, I wanted to own and harness the power of a high-end iMac computer. To sum it up, I spent over $3,000 on an iMac computer for work and for gaming. When I look back now, I knew I shouldn't have bought it, but I couldn't help myself. I used to buy other tech items and software to enhance the use of my computer and my phone. Now, some of these items were necessary, but then others were a complete waste. During my early 20s, when I found a high-paying job, I became more self-aware of my spending. So that meant paying off credit cards quickly so then interest wouldn't rack up so quick. Unfortunately, I got laid off in 2008, and that's when financial wisdom went out the window. Video games and business opportunities were 2 things that I sunk money into, and then with tech items being another. I remember I got qualified for a $5,000 Capital One credit card and around $2,500 Barclay credit card. And guess what I did with them? I spent money on video games and other items, including that expensive iMac computer. I had unrealistic expectations of making a good amount of money to pay off that debt I built up, but reality set in when things didn't go as planned. What followed was constant phone calls from collectors. Not a fun moment for me. I spent a huge portion of my 30s working hard to pay off that credit card debt. And now I don't use them too much, only because I don't want history to repeat itself. The best advice I got, which I failed to follow, was using credit cards only in the case of an emergency. However, I use them sparingly to build my credit score. Throughout my 20s, I found myself in a constant up and down spiral between being productive and dabbling in leisure activities. I never kept a consistent flow in productivity. For instance, when I got laid off from that high-paying job, I should have started working on finding another job. Instead of looking at a job as a burden, I should have treated it as a superpower to maintain a continuous climb towards my dreams of living financially free. So I figured that I would share that with you in case that you see having a job as a bad thing. You may hate where you're at now, but use that hate for fuel towards building your empire. You'll appreciate the achievement of quitting that job and living a wealthy lifestyle. They say knowledge is power, but man, is it a hefty price to get that knowledge, only to receive a piece of paper for your troubles. I believe it's good to get an education. Going to school is important, but only if you put what you learn to good use. I fall into a common category of many. Around 1/3 of college graduates end up working a different field outside of their major. That includes me. When I look back, I was better off just getting a job and doing a legitimate side hustle. Either that or get my real estate license. One, because experience to employers are always going to trump credentials. For instance, they would rather hire somebody with 15 years of experience with computer engineering than somebody with no experience and a college degree in that field. Secondly, it's because the most debt that I have acquired of all has been student loan debt. Usually, these loans take somebody decades or their entire life to pay off. So I can say with complete distaste that I'm still working on paying down my student loan debt, with no solid end in sight. Thank you for watching this video. I hope from sharing my story of the financial mistakes I made in my 20s that it would help you steer towards making better financial decisions. Start budgeting your spending if you haven't already. You could use apps like Rocket Money or Empower PER to track your income and expenses. You can also use a spreadsheet. I have one available that you can access through Google Sheets. The link to my budgeting spreadsheet is in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself. And for more content like this, please leave a like and subscribe. Take care and stay wealthy.